to allow this to happen, there could be quite profound changes in organisational structure, organisational design.
Yeah.
But I think to think about one of Barry O'Reilly's mantras is think big, start small, learn fast. But the fundamental changes which this may need to happen to support this, for example, having finance being very, very close to the teams as they're discovering and providing them with the right kind of support and guardrails, and having less reports links into recognising the impediments of traditional organisational structures. So if you think about it as a pyramid, we have the decision makers, the C-suite at the top, and then we have various different tiers of management, and at the bottom we may have the teams and individuals closest to the customer. And I think what happens is reports are created and filtered up and sometimes twisted, intentionally, unintentionally, to the people at the top. And what we need to do is almost think about organisational design and shift that to, I'm not sure what the shape is, to flatten it, or at least if you think about what David Marquette says in Turn the Ship Around and so forth, is rather than push information up to authority, look for opportunities to push authority and perhaps even financial control, maybe even limited profit and loss down to product teams. Which is a really, really fascinating transformation for organisations to make. And I'm not sure if many incumbent organisations recognise it and are able to experiment with this kind of approach.
Two things on that. I think I absolutely agree with that turn the ship around concept. And I think, if you read that and really assimilate that, you will see that what Captain David talks about there is he doesn't propose changing that structure, but as you said, pushing the decision making down to the information. And if you're doing that, then everybody there's a psychological ownership that comes with that, which is, I think, really powerful and will support most finance folks. Because if you know that the people who are doing the work care as much about the outcomes and care as much about the finances as you do as the finance director, you're going to be able to do a lot more, because you're not going to be having to control everything in a command and control micromanagement style. You know that you can trust folks to be on your page, as it were, when it comes to finance. When it comes to the importance of, keeping you out of jail, basically, if we're going to go that extreme. So that's absolutely right, and I think so that there is that element comes into it. In the next thing is, as you just quite rightly said, don't try and change it all at once. I mean, that is just way too scary, and you will move it to chaos very, very quickly. It needs to be done in small pockets. You need to experience those things. You need to test them and experience and see what happens and find what works for you. You can't, we all know this. You can't take Agile that works for one organization, boilerplate it, and try and drop it on another organization. That just doesn't work. The values, the principles, the philosophies are consistent, but what you actually do with that will be unique to your organization. So and through experimenting, you can then actually say, okay, those things work. Let's spread that out. Let's let that move through the organization. And I think one interesting thing is that if we were to start with finance for an agile transformation, the rest of it will fall into place very quickly. Because if I'm required to report to you with an agile mindset, you're the finance director, I have to report to you with an agile mindset because that's what you've got. I'm going to change quickly. Again, Dave Marquet talks about this, doesn't he? He says, act your way to a new way of thinking. And I think that there is an amazing opportunity for organizations to shift quickly and permanently by getting finance right, and maybe HR as well. We'll talk about that on another call, maybe.
I'd love to.
But get finance right, and then that will then support everything else, and then we'll stop that conflict that is going on, that we have at the moment, where these guys go like, I get it, and these guys are going like, say what? And if it was the other way around, it would move faster.